Taurus, welcome to your February 2025 monthly horoscope. My name is Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this video, I will be getting into all of the major themes, topics, energy, and events you will be navigating for the month ahead. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. Now, I have broken this horoscope down by week, and I've selected a chart for each week to give you a bit of a visual. Before we get into the weeks, I've just listed the major transits for February. And again, I will touch on these once we through the horoscope so that you kind of get the areas of life that these transits are affecting. But on February 1st, as soon as we come into the month, we're going to have Venus forming a conjunction to Neptune at 27 degrees 59 minutes. And then a few hours later, Venus is going to form a conjunction to the North Node at 28 degrees 9 minutes. Again, we will get into this very significant energy. On February 3rd, we have Mercury in Aquarius forming a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini at 11 degrees. On February 4th, we have Venus entering Aries. And just about an hour later, we have Jupiter stationing direct in Gemini, so very significant. February 6th, we have the North Node Neptune conjunction at 28 degrees of Pisces. On February 9th, we have Mercury and the Sun forming a conjunction, which is a cazimi, and this is taking place at 21 degrees of Aquarius. And also on the same day, February 9th, we have Mars retrograde in Cancer, forming a trine to Saturn and Pisces at 18 degrees. Again, this is a water trine, so lots of emotion on this day. We'll touch on this for sure. February 10th, we have Mercury in Aquarius forming a square to Uranus and Taurus at 23 degrees. And then February 12th, we have the full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. This full moon will be forming a T square to Uranus. I don't get too deep into the lunations in the monthly horoscopes because I do post separate forecast on the new moons and the full moons where I get into the chart for the lunation and also all 12 rising signs, but we'll touch on it a little bit in this horoscope. And then on February 14th, we have Mercury entering Pisces. On February 18th, we have the Sun entering Pisces. On February 23rd, we have Mars stationing direct at 17 degrees of Cancer. On February 25th, we have Mercury forming a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces at 20 degrees. And then on February 27th, we have our new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees. And where this is not an eclipse, I do believe it is still going to be quite powerful and trigger some major themes, topics, and events for this 18-month story that is playing out in this axis of your chart. So we will get into all this energy. Now, the first week of February, this is the chart that I selected, and it's for around February 4th. So on the first, let's just go over. You have Pisces in the 11th house, which is where a lot of this energy is kind of focused. And the 11th house rules friends and friendships, social groups, online connections, networking. All of the groups and associations you are attached to are kind of represented in the 11th house. Also, your hopes, your dreams, your circle of friends. It's all in that 11th house. So, having the North Node here over the next 12 months, which, if you haven't checked out my the lunar nodes entering Virgo and Pisces video, make sure you do so. I'll link it up here. And also at the end of this horoscope, I get into all 12 rising signs. And when we have the lunar nodes enter a certain area of our life, because they spend about 18 months in each sign. So it's like an 18-month story playing out. And the North Node represents something new. It's a new direction, a new journey you're moving towards. And the nodes are very fated, very karmic. And so having the North Node here, every time we have an activation of the North Node, an eclipse, or even this new moon that we're going to have in Pisces at the end of the month in February, it's triggering more energy to come in for that 18-month story playing out, whether it's an event that shows up or, what experience, situation, person, whatever the case is, there's kind of more to whatever it is you will be navigating over the next 18 months. So when Venus, on the first, when Venus forms a conjunction first to Neptune, at 27 degrees, Venus is your chart ruler. And so this can be where maybe you're having, you could be forming a lot of spiritual connections with all this energy in your 11th house. Maybe starting to look at a lot of spiritual groups or um, maybe even being drawn to a lot of spiritual groups. And so with this Neptune energy, the month of February, you just want to make sure you are being discerning with the types of groups that you're kind of attaching yourself to or attracted to or moving towards. You want to make sure they're the real deal. You want to make sure that they're not just pretending to kind of be high vibe and of the positive and the light and all of that, because that could definitely be a thing with this energy. Venus being your chart ruler, which literally represents you, rules your first house. So this is you, your character, your physical body, your appearance. When Venus forms a conjunction to Neptune, we do want to watch for escapism. We do want to watch for over idealizing friends. And like I said, groups, associations, things like that. We want to have self awareness, especially the whole month of February, because Venus is going to station retrograde on March 1st. So, whatever is showing up for you around your direction and even around like how you want to be perceived, your appearance, your physical body, these are going to be themes and topics that you will be reassessing and revisiting over the next few months. So, you definitely want to pay attention the entire month of February. Venus is going to station retrograde on March 1st and will be retrograde until April 12th. And Venus is going to station in Aries and move back to Pisces. So I'll be making a forecast kind of going more deeper into that energy, also touching on all 12 rising signs. So make sure you watch for that. But just Venus being your chart ruler, this is an energy that you are going to feel a lot more personally that really can change your direction. In life and the direction you want to move in, especially around spirituality, because of even the 12th house and Pisces and the North Node being in Pisces, there could be a lot of spiritual pursuits. And we just want to make sure that we are kind of following what is truly in alignment with us. And then when Venus forms a conjunction to the North Node, again, that is where there could be, somebody very important showing up, maybe a friend, support. This is a day we do want to pay attention to what is showing up for us around friendships, around spiritual groups, around, groups, associations, networking, online, all of those themes and topics, because it can definitely, um, kind of give you an idea of maybe an event or an energy or an experience, situation, person you'll be revisiting, reassessing over the next few months. Now, on February 3rd, we will have Mercury in Aquarius forming a trine to Jupiter retrograde. And I added this one in just because, like, the next day, Jupiter is going to station direct. So, Mercury being up here in Aquarius in your 10th house of career, your public reputation, there could be a really important conversation that you're having. At work regarding your money, regarding your finances. When Jupiter stations direct, we tend to become more optimistic. Jupiter rules our optimism. And sometimes when Jupiter is retrograde, we can not necessarily get pessimistic, but just find it hard to be optimistic and kind of excited about the bigger picture and excited about life and excited about this new direction. And so when Mercury forms a trine to Jupiter, there can be something very exciting coming in, whether it's information you receive, it's a conversation that you have around your money and finances and work, maybe a increase in your wages, things like that. That can definitely be a thing with this energy. Now, on February 4th, Venus is going to enter Aries. So, Venus will enter your 12th house. When we have our chart ruler enter the 12th house, sometimes this can be a little bit difficult because the 12th house suppresses energy. And, but this is where we could focus more on what's going on behind the scenes. And again, Venus is going to retrograde. So Venus is going to be in this area of your life for quite a few months, into June, really, because Venus isn't going to leave post shadow until May 15th, which is only going to be that 10 degrees of Aries. So yeah, once we get to like June, Venus will enter your first house. But so Venus is in this area of your life for the next few months. Pay attention to what's showing up around spirituality, your intuition. You want to be careful of any escapism behaviors or patterns, any self-undoing, self-sabotaging. Those can all be showing up with this Venus retrograde so that they can be reprogrammed, they can be released, they could be karmic endings around self-undoing behaviors and escapism tendencies. So pay attention to kind of what is showing up through the month of February. Then on the 6th, we will have the North Node Neptune conjunction at 28 degrees of Pisces. And this is like a lot of Pisces energy, a lot of Neptune energy. The North Node being here really amplifies those spiritual topics, intuition, but also I over idealizing things, seeing things with rose-colored glasses, having this in your 11th house of friends, there can be like there is a possibility of forming a lot of spiritual connections over the next 18 months. And this is where you can form one of those connections or be introduced to somebody or come across someone online and you start to follow them, you end up forming some type of relationship, like I don't mean like a romantic relationship. I mean, maybe you start to follow a group or a spiritual teacher, and over the next 18 months, you become closer to them, or whatever the case is, you join the group, something like that. This day is where maybe you come across that group online or that teacher. But we do, again, want to be careful with that Neptune energy that we're seeing things clearly. Clearly, we're not seeing things with rose-colored glasses or over idealizing people and situations. So we want to definitely have self-awareness. On February 9th, we will have the Mercury Sun conjunction, the Mercury cazimi at 21 degrees of Aquarius. So, again, this is where you could have a powerful intuitive insight or a really powerful conversation with somebody at work about your career, about your public image, your public reputation, um, a leader, authority. Those are all 10th house themes and topics. Mercury rules your second house of money and finances and personal values, and also your fifth house of children, creativity, your hobbies, romantic connections, what you're passionate about, which, this area is also going through a lot of changes with that South Node here over the next 18 months. But this is where, and also too, having the South Node in Virgo, Virgo being ruled by Pisces, this means all Pisces transits we want to pay extra attention to because they're going to activate that South Node energy. They're attached to that South Node energy. That South Node represents what we're moving away from, where we're releasing something, letting something go, or something coming back from the past. So with this Mercury cazimi, there can be a romantic connection from the past or something around your children showing up or money and finances. And, so we want to pay attention on this day. Now, on the same day as the Mercury cazimi, we also have Mars retrograde in Cancer, forming a trine to Saturn in Pisces. So Mars is in your third house of community, neighbors, your neighborhood, your siblings, cousins, vehicles, local travel, day-to-day travels, also your mindset, your communication, the way you speak, write, um, how you learn, that is all in your third house. And so having Mercury retrograde in Cancer in the third house you could be getting a lot of brain fog actually with this, which we're all kind of experiencing in our own way with this Mercury retrograde in Cancer. But for you guys, because it's in your third house, literally of your mindset and your thought processes and the way you think and all that, you could be getting a lot of brain fog. When Mars forms a trine to Saturn, this is where you could have a really important conversation with somebody or form some type of really solid partnership or, meet somebody. This could have to do with friends, but Saturn rules commitments, responsibilities, something long term, something solid, something foundational, forming a trine to Mars in that third house, which could be, again, those third house themes, shifting your mindset. It could literally be a conversation with a friend that ends up playing out. But something else with this energy too, I feel like we're all going to experience is because this is water signs. Cancer and Pisces are water signs. So this is a water trine. Mars retrograde in Cancer is already bringing up a lot of emotions from the past. So, this can also be emotions or something from the past around friends or around a group that you were attached to, or even around siblings, cousins, neighbors, or something within your community because of that third house. Once we get to the second week, on the 10th, we have Mercury in Aquarius forming a square to Uranus in Taurus at 23 degrees. So at this point, Mercury will still be in Aquarius in your 10th house. You have Uranus in your first house. And again, when Uranus stations direct on January 30th, it's around that 23 degrees. If you have your ascendant around 23 degrees, you're really going to feel that. And Uranus just being in Taurus, this can shake up. Um, I felt like the general theme for this energy around a station in Taurus was, and I felt this because there was this ongoing sextile to Mars retrograde. Like there was an internal shakeup in our what we need internally to make us feel safe, secure, the foundations of what we need for stability and emotional stability and all of that. I feel like that was kind of being shaken up with the Uranus station. I just wanted to mention that because it is in your first house. But when Mercury forms a square to Uranus, there can be, some type of challenging conversation. It could have to do with work. It could have to do with your money and finances. It could have to do with your children or romantic partner. Because of that fifth house, there could be tension. There could be a hard conversation. There could be maybe some challenging information or message coming in. Um, with that square. And then on February 12th, we will have our full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. And again, I'm not going to get too much into the lunations. I will post a separate forecast on the lunations, but the full moon in Leo will be right here in your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. So those themes and topics will be lit up. The fourth house also rules what you do behind the scenes, your private life. The 10th house is your public life. The fourth house is your private life. So this is what you do behind the scenes. So, all of that can be lit up at this time, or that will be lit up at this time. And then February 14th, we will have Mercury entering Pisces. And once we get to our third week of February, on the 18th, we have the sun entering Pisces. So now we have a lot of energy in that 11th house of friends and friendships, social groups, networking. There can be a lot of focus in this area. You can be thinking about, like I said, maybe connecting to a lot of spiritual groups or just a lot of groups in general that you've been watching online, or this can have to do with forming new friendship groups. On February 23rd, we're going to have Mars stationing direct at 17 degrees of Cancer. So Mars is going to station direct at 17 degrees of Cancer in your third house. It is Mars, so depending on your personal relationship to Mars, we want to be careful with vehicles. Um, we want to be careful with like communication, community, neighbors, kind of how we're speaking because the third house rules speaking and then Mars there. So, which you should actually be cautious of just with even with Mars retrograde, just Mars in that third house, cautious of how you're speaking. And like I said, you could be experiencing a lot of brain fog, but also even to feeling like you can't speak clearly or you can't um like express your emotions properly. Sometimes with this Mars retrograding Cancer and even just Mars and Cancer generally, it can be like a passive aggressive energy, or there can be a lot of issues with being assertive or expressing emotions. So those can all be things that you're experiencing as well. It'll be nice to have Mars station direct, even though we still have a few more months of this, Mars retrograde journey because Mars will be post shadow well into Leo, but um on the 23rd it'll be nice to finally have Mars station direct. And then week 4, on February 25th, we will have Mercury forming a conjunction to Saturn in Pisces at 20 degrees. So, again, Mercury rules your second house of money, finances, material possessions, your personal values, and that fifth house of children, romantic connections, creativity, your hobbies, your interests, what you do for fun, what you're passionate about in the 11th house. So again, Saturn rules, commitment, responsibility, sometimes can bring limitation, sometimes can bring challenge and hardship. So this can be a mixed bag depending on your personal relationship to Saturn, meaning if Saturn is your most malefic planet or not. And and so there can be, a really harsh conversation with a friend. There can be, hearing about something with a friend or a social group, or again, your money and finances, or those fifth house topics, something along those lines. And then February 27th, we will have our new moon in Pisces at 9 degrees, which is not going to be an eclipse, but I believe it's going to feel just as powerful as an eclipse and can trigger and activate themes, topics, events, and energy to come in for this area of life, for this, this 18-month story that will be playing out. So until July 2026. So, because that's how long we have the nodes in Virgo and Pisces. So definitely pay attention. Again, I'll get more into the new moon and Pisces energy, but at 9 degrees, that's a day where those 11th house themes and topics will be kind of lit up. It's a great time to set intentions for the direction that you want to take with this area of life. And so, Taurus, I hope this helps you get an idea of major themes, topics, events you'll be navigating for the month ahead. It kind of gives you an idea of the areas of life the significant energies for the month will be moving through. And if you have any personal planets or points around the degree points we've discussed in this horoscope, you will feel this a lot more personally and have even further activation of these transits. And again, don't forget, you want to pay attention the entire month of February to what's going on with you, how you want to be perceived, your appearance, changes to your physical body, all those Venusian themes and topics, because Venus will be pre-shadow and is going to station retrograde on March 1st. And make sure you watch for that forecast, because I will be posting a forecast on Venus retrograde as well. Now, I also just want to mention if you want a one-on-one consultation, I offer birth chart readings, I offer solar return readings, lunar return readings. I will put the link in the description below. You can check out my website. I offer a 90-minute one-on-one Zoom consultation where I get deep into your birth chart and also go over the current transit, so your current energy. And then I also offer a personal year ahead forecast where we analyze your solar return chart. We compare that to your birth chart and also your new year chart. I offer a lunar return chart for the next 3 months, giving you an idea of major themes, topics, and events you'll be navigating for the next 3 months ahead. So I will put the link to my website down below. You can check it out if you wish. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. And I will connect with you all in the next one.